the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Friday morning. We are glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day and make an Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. It's Brett and Faith, as always, here on a Friday. We're hanging out with our buddy Kyle Rush. Kyle, good to see you, my man. Glad you're jumping on with us here on this Friday morning.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm fired up, ready for the game, man.
I know it just, again, Faith and I talk about this all the time. Now that we're in football season, we're already looking at game number 3. I mean, this thing flies by when you get here. All the anticipation, the summer, the doldrums, you're like, are we ever going to get to that first game? And now that Baylor game's in the rearview mirror, and we're just rocking and rolling right on down the line.
Absolutely. It does. Once it gets rolling, the end of the season gets on you before you're ready for it.
It does. Faith, good to see you too this morning. A lot to talk about here. Obviously, South Alabama on tap tomorrow morning. Auburn wearing white. You kind of gave a weather forecast yesterday on the show. Faith, it's going to be nice, but it's going to be a little warm. So maybe a little strategy in wearing those white uniforms. But I think the starting point for all this, we'll get into the game here in just a little bit. We'll talk about some of our partners and all that stuff too. But getting into the game, I think the topic of note is it's South Alabama. This is another in-state school.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with saying happy birthday to my mom. I'm sure they're probably watching this morning. So happy birthday, Mommy. I love you. But yeah, okay, so, Auburn's playing South Alabama tomorrow for the first time that they're meeting in program history. Coach Freeze talked about yesterday having it be a continued thing every year to play in-state teams. And, Auburn played Alabama A&M. They've played Samford, Alabama State, Jacksonville State. This is, going to be the first matchup between South Alabama and Auburn. And when he was talking about it, and even having Coach Applewhite talk about it, because he coached at Alabama for some time, and they were talking about how when you grow up in the state of Alabama and you're playing football, you dream about playing in the Iron Bowl. And that's just something that you always watch growing up, and it's something that you dream about. And even if you don't end up making it to a team like Auburn or Alabama, being able to play at an in-state school and going and playing at Jordan-Hare or Bryant-Denny Stadium, you still get that feel of almost living part of that dream that you've always had. And I really liked how Coach Freeze said that for the fan bases, it makes it fun and it's a cheaper option for teams to go up and meet each other, because, some of those smaller schools don't get to go and travel to some of those bigger stadiums like they do. And I think that's a really, really cool thing to do just in the state of Alabama.
For sure. 1.3 million, and you don't have to go very far. So a lot of these schools, you got to go all the way across the country with that paycheck. So there's tens of thousands of dollars that you have to spend of the money that you get right out of pocket. So it's awesome. What school haven't we played in state yet? Troy, maybe?
Troy.
Yeah.
Do you play do you ever play UNA? I don't know exactly.
They're on the schedule.
They're on the schedule for what, 2028?
Yes.
That's
I think
awesome.
It's 28. Yeah.
That would be everybody, I would imagine, other than Troy.
Yep.
Right. I want to take another angle on this because y'all know I've been covering high school football for 26 years, and we have the contract with the HSA. And I'll be honest with you, like Faith just said, living that dream, being able to go play. It's like some of those kids grew up pulling for Auburn.
Sure.
So an opportunity to go in and play in Jordan-Hare for another team, you still get to live that moment. But I'm going to tell you something, guys, and I'll highlight one kid that's at UAB right now that I know very well. I coached him in Little League all the way through Benjamin Russell, is Corey Milner, and he's leading their conference in receptions right now. And had a chance to go. Faith and I talked to him at spring practice. He came back up to Ben Russell during spring and kind of had a soft cast on his hand because of a little small injury. But he had been offered to get in the portal and go to another SEC school this past year, and he decided to stay at UAB, be the guy this year, and he's already showing that. Knew he had that talent, and he'll have a shot to go somewhere next year in the SEC and be in the SEC. He's that kind of talent. But my point in saying that is South Alabama's loaded with a bunch of guys like Corey Milner that have a chip on their shoulder, that maybe didn't quite get the offer that they wanted, that have a lot to prove. And if you don't come out and play in a game, and we've seen this, and Faith and I talked about this yesterday, Kyle, we've seen Auburn narrowly escape Jacksonville State, narrowly escape, a Utah State, a narrowly escape these teams where you maybe aren't just quite as focused, but you got a team that's fired up and they got pretty good football players. You got to be dialed in. But I think also, and I'm going to add another point to this, but that's kind of my take on that. So you got some guys on this South Alabama team that can play football, and they want to come in here and they're looking at this as a, hey, I got nothing to lose opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an element that's not talked about enough in this matchup is that chip on the shoulder. You're right. It's big. It's a big difference than like Arkansas State coming to Auburn or Ball State or Middle Tennessee State, whoever. It's just different because, like you said, there's probably a lot of kids from Mobile that may be on this roster. You got an SEC transfer running back that's on this roster, and it's a chance to go against an in-state SEC school. I think that is something that's definitely not talked about in Auburn. You got to come in, you got to handle business. I think they have a very porous running defense, and if that's what they're giving you, go ahead and put them away early because they're going to want to come out throwing haymakers. I would imagine some kind of big trick play or something big and explosive, or an attempt to get an explosive early. Definitely, the local aspect plays just a completely different role than any other small school that you bring in from outside of the state.
Faith, they beat Mississippi State a few years ago. I know we try to take jabs over there, especially Faith having some ties with the state of Mississippi and not being a big Mississippi.
Your Mississippi State colors right now.
I am wearing, but it's not Mississippi State. Just for everybody, it's
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is. They're definitely Mississippi State colors for sure, and you like wearing them too, right? But they beat Mississippi State. I mean, so this is a program that's got a lot of great coaches. We talked about that yesterday. You got Trey Williams coming back, former Auburn linebacker. A lot of passion there. That's a good thing. And Kyle, Faith, and I talked about that yesterday. We love to see former players come back in whatever capacity coaching, seeing that they have a good career. But I want to go around the room here. I've got another.
Well, hang on. Let me piggyback off of what you just said.
Yes.
I think it also helps with Trey Williams having played in Jordan-Hare and him being able to, express to the guys that what it's like playing in Jordan-Hare and what it's like playing in that environment, because, he's done it. And the environment really does play such a factor when you're playing against some of these smaller schools. Think about last week with Ball State. They probably haven't seen an environment like Jordan-Hare and how loud it got down there. Brett, you and I both looked at each other like, wow, for Ball State, it is this loud. Right. And with South Alabama being an in-state school, there's going to be more of not rivalry, but definitely more intensity in this game.
Sure. That 11:45 aspect of it too. Got to get up early. Got to get up early and get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching practice. I think all three of us were at this practice, and Keldrick wasn't really firing all cylinders that early morning, and I think they were getting on him a little bit. And I think all of us looked at each other and said, "Boy, we've never been real good in early morning practices, games, anything around here. Our guys just don't wake up." So, but you're right, got to get up and get ready to play. Another element to this game, the school across the state, and that's what I refer to them as, they take a different approach to this. And I've heard Auburn fans go, "Well, I don't know why we play all this. I mean, we have nothing to gain from this." and I see that point. I mean, you're giving an opportunity to a school to come in and knock the big guy off. I get it. But, what the hell, man? I mean, what's the harm? I mean, you should line up and beat this. You have a better roster. You have a better top to bottom coaching staff. You have better resources, better facilities. If you lose that game, it's on you, man. Like, you didn't do what you needed to do to get ready to play, and you didn't dial your players in to get them ready to play, and your team wasn't motivated. There should never be a situation where you come out there and go, well, I'm not going to play them because we're giving them a shot. I like what Coach Freeze and John Cohen are doing here, guys. I think that they're saying, look, these kids did, like Faith said, grow up probably pulling for Auburn. And they get a chance to come play. And, if we lose, it's our fault. And then we'll have to clean it up. And I'll start with you, Faith. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I just think it's damaging to the brand of Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I think you want to see, I don't know, you want to see your school play in state schools. I don't know. I think that's where it's just why. That's literally the question of why. Yeah. You're going to go and you're not going to play South Alabama or University of North Alabama.
They're terrified to play UAB. They won't. They just won't do it. I know UAB's not good right now, and they've had some good things, but they don't even want to even have the semblance of the chance of UAB lining up and beating them. They're just not going to put.
But they'll do it with Florida State, and they'll lose there, so it's fine.
Hey, another aspect of this, let's just be real.
That was a tough jab.
Let's just be real right here. I mean, the transfer portal thing too.
Yes.
You get a look at guys in state that would probably be easy to get on film against your own team. I know you can do that against anybody, but it's a lot easier when they're just right down the road. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
that I think there's a big aspect of that too. Like, hey, if you look at some of these smaller schools and you're like, hey, they could have a really good player that could level up. Like, why not have that relationship created? Why not have that pipeline of maybe you get the best? Eventually, you play Troy. Maybe the best Troy player would want to level up and come to Auburn, or the best kid from Jacksonville State, or the best kid from South Alabama. Auburn tried to get a kid from South Alabama, I think if not last year, the year prior, and I think he's a pretty good player at Missouri right now. So it's not like they don't get high caliber players in there now. So why not go ahead and create sort of that relationship? And I would imagine those schools are really grateful for the opportunity to come play. So it all works together now. It all works together. So that's another element to look at of this whole thing.
I just think it's something to be noted that I think Auburn's taking this approach and they're not running from it. They're not saying, no, we're not going to play these in-state schools because it gives them an opportunity to get one up on us. Again, I'm not going to go back through what I said, but if that's what you're doing it for, then you're looking at it wrong. And then I think the perspective of keeping the money, like you said, Kyle, in the state of Alabama, you're helping schools in the state of Alabama versus Arkansas State or Utah State or something like that. And hey, we all want kids to have success, and we definitely are biased toward our in-state schools outside of one school. We don't really care about one, but the rest we want to see kind of prosper and be successful. So we take that approach. The other school takes the other side of it, and you just move on. But I think now it's going to make it a little bit more enjoyable, maybe a little bit more hype to a game because you have an in-state school versus lining up and playing. Like, again, I keep using Utah State. I mean, nothing about that game fires me up at 11:45. But South Alabama, you're like, okay, they're going to come in here with a little bit of maybe a little bit of edge, see if they can do some stuff. So let's talk about some of our partners here, Faith, before we move forward. And we always start
with Sensa Green. Sensa Green, that is wow, sorry, I was typing in trying to get Wade's email up. Sensa Green, for air that's cool and clean, call on Sensa Green. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporters of Auburn Athletics and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast. For air that's cool and clean this fall during dollar days, call Senza Green for major discounts on HVAC repairs and installs, plus insulation with Professor Greenbacks. Get HVAC smart at sensagreen.com through Thanksgiving with up to $100 off HVAC repairs, $500 off insulation work, and $1,500 off new HVAC system. Senza Green with Carrier, turn to the experts. How cool are these coupons?
Very cool. Very, very cool. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, working with municipalities, school systems, whatever it is. If you got a multi-million-dollar project, you need a professional to help you go from the start to finish. I mean, you do not want to take that on, and people within the organization don't have time to oversee it. Scout Program Management, they will handle it from the pre-construction phase to the finished product. Check them out in Birmingham, Alabama. They are the best in the business. If you don't, it's your fault.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. We were just there yesterday and had so much fun there. Y'all, if you're not going to be going to the game tomorrow, or even if you are after the game, stop by Bunkers in downtown Auburn. It is so much fun. They've got TVs everywhere. Lots of games going on tomorrow night. So once you finish with the Auburn game, go over to Bunkers, get yourself some steak sliders, and hang out at Bunkers.
Yeah, cool renovations they've made over there. So,
yeah, they've got a lot more seating. So everyone should just go over there after.
Yeah. We walked in and we felt like we were in a completely different place. You were looking for something and you were like, I said, no, that's not right there anymore. This is the whole new area, but it's awesome. And it's really, really cool.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot of fun. All right, guys, let's talk about the recruiting list for this weekend. Visitors, probably not as big a list as the Ball State game, but still some guys of note. Especially in this 26 class. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't start with B.J. Bedgood again making a return visit from Benjamin Russell. And I'm telling everybody, and Faith can back me up on this, this kid is a definite SEC wide receiver. And he plays alongside Cedarian Morgan. And I know Cedarian is the top player in the state, and he's definitely warranted that title. But I watch BJ on a week in and week out basis, and he's got all the skills, and he's got the build. He's physical. He's a prototypical slot receiver in this conference. If I'm Auburn, and I'm saying this, I'm going to say it every time I'm on here, Auburn, make the offer. Go ahead and make the offer. He is a hard worker. He's going to approach very similar to Malcolm. Malcolm goes 110% in practice when he's running to the water cooler to get a cup of water, or whether he's going to whatever he's doing it 110%. And BJ's the same kid. And so I don't know what we're waiting on. I'm just saying, go ahead and offer him. BJ Bedgood's a guy to keep watching. What you think, Kyle?
From the people that I talk to, I think he's definitely making some noise in this second wide receiver you take conversation. It seems like it's been a foregone conclusion that eventually it's going to be Deshaun Spencer from Saraland, who's also a really good player. But I think BJ's turning some heads. I think BJ's getting a lot of conversation, and his willingness to come back for multiple visits is going to help as well build those relationships. So I don't think it's as black and white anymore as far as who that guy's going to be, that second wide receiver is going to be. I think BJ could very well work himself into getting an offer and maybe being that number 2 guy, especially if he continues to have a season. I think you said he had a big game against Opelika, maybe a little bit dinged up in the last one, but had a bit, what was it, a big fumble recovery or a kickoff return for a touchdown or something like that. So can kind of do it all.
Yeah, that play, Faith, I've never seen. I don't think I've been calling football a long time, and I've never seen a blocked field goal picked up and returned for a touchdown.
That's what it was.
With a glove in his hand. Like he's the holder. They block the field goal. He picks it up with a glove in his hand, basically with one hand, and then runs and dives in the end zone. And I'm like, I had to stop for a second and go, can you do that? Can you? And I'm like, and you can. And we were all blown away by how that turned out. But Faith, I'll let you give a little bit of a take on BJ because you've been around him too.
I don't want to say underrated is the word for him, but I think underrated is the way that he has just not been talked about or offered.
Right.
And he really is somebody that does put in all that work, and he puts all of his energy into what he's doing now. He's looking to,
Right.
Either make the catch now and go and look towards the end zone. He goes play by play, and he plays both ways at BR, and it's hard to not get exhausted and just kind of half do it after when you're getting into that fourth quarter. He is working his butt off every single snap he's in. And that's something that it shouldn't go unnoticed. And I mean, it's good to see how well he's performing at this level at Ben Russell, because Ben Russell is a good program. And, Sedarian really gets all the hype, but he's just, because Sedarian's name, I want to say, overshadows some of the receivers at Ben Russell.
Yep.
BJ's underrated in that aspect.
Now, I think it's a good analysis because it's not a cut on his ability, obviously, but
Right.
when you have the number one player in the state on your team and he plays that same position, but what it does is we see the coverage get blanketed on Sedarian, and it opens up opportunities for the rest of that group. So, yeah. I think that's a good analysis of what BJ is, and that if he were on somebody else's team, he would be absolutely the guy everybody's pointing to.
He would be the one that everybody is saying,
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you got to come watch this kid. You've got to come see what he can do.
Also, this is something else. I don't know what Sarah Lynn has in the 2028 class, but Benjamin Russell's got a pretty special one in the 2028 class.
There's no question.
So you might want to, if all things are equal, I might lean BJ Bedgood here, just if it helps at all with the quarterback in 2028, who's probably going to be one of the top prospects in the entire country.
And that point you just brought up, that's the way recruiting goes. You look into the future, and let me tell you, the relationship between BJ and Kingston is very, very close. Those two guys have played football together for a long time. They both transferred over from Montgomery Catholic to Benjamin Russell. Their families are close. Okay. You got Malcolm down here at Auburn already from Benjamin Russell. I mean, I'm just saying, I think those are all relative points. All right, so let's move into some of the Auburn commits. And Faith, right at the top of the list is a guy you've sat down with a couple of times and interviewed on your segment with On the Front Row is Jaquez Wilkes.
Yeah, we didn't see him last week. I was looking for him, didn't see him, but he was there. And I really hope I'll be able to see him this week. I mean, that kid is such a nice guy. You can't beat somebody that's good on the field and is just such a good person off the field too. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him, maybe his mama too, if she's going to be there. She's awesome. Yep. But that kid has so much talent, and playing at Wadley in 1A is just, it's not doing it for him.
It's unfair.
Yeah, it's not doing it for him. He needs to get somewhere where he can have some better competition. And, he did have a coaching change this year with his high school coach.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that shows some loyalty there too. He's playing at 1A. He gets a new coach going into his senior year. He could easily go pick up and move somewhere, or his family could, but he's showing loyalty to Wadley and where he's from. So
that game last week, they got down 21-0. And at the end of the second quarter, it was 56-21. They broke a state record for most points in a quarter. They scored 56 points. Jason Caldwell called me on the way home. We were leaving our game, and he's like, dude, I don't even know what I just watched. It's just crazy.
56 points in a quarter?
In one quarter, it broke the state record.
That's the thing, man. What's funny is I got a couple buddies that coach throughout the state of Alabama, and one of them in particular is a 1A coach. And he's like, we got a big game this Friday. It'll pretty much determine the region. and it'll determine who has to play Wadley first. He's like, and we don't want it to be us. We want to at least get to the third round before we have to play Wadley, because he dominates. And when you're at that level, like, what you have to do is you have to be good enough to be able to dominate basically everybody you play on both sides of the ball. Like, you have to be undeniably the best player out there, and that's who Jaquez Wilkes is. He could come to Auburn High right now, and he'd be a force. He could start at running back. He could start pass rushing. He could start at middle linebacker at Auburn High. Like, he's that good. But if you're going to be at Wadley, you have to dominate, and he's so good that he has other coaches talking about when they're going to go out in the playoffs. And they want to make sure they win their region, so they play him third round instead of the second round. So he's a stud.
Yeah, I don't think it matters when you play him. You do want to get a couple of games under your belt. You don't want to have to play him right out of the gate for sure. So yeah, glad that he's going to be there. A guy that is a Tennessee commit that's going to be there. I think Auburn really is going to push hard for, and I think he, like Faith said, with maybe BJ, is a little bit under the radar. But his talent, if you watch this kid at Pike Road, Braylon Outlaw, he's 6 foot, about 220 pounds. And, you know, I know a lot of times coaches get caught up with, you know, as far as intangibles, height and all this kind of stuff. This kid, when you turn the film on, he's remarkable. He's a guy that you go, we got to have him on our team. He will be in tomorrow, and I think that's a guy for everybody to watch too.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I don't know what Auburn's going to do at linebacker. They seem pretty they've got a lot of young guys in that last year's class that are playing right away. And you still got at least another year out of DeMarcus Riddick, and you don't have a ton of linebackers on the field anyway. I don't know what they're going to do, but maybe keeping him warm to see if, hey, Jaquez Wilkes is for sure going to be an edge, so we need to take another guy late in the class. It could easily work out. I'm with you. Pike Road, another school, puts out some pretty good players.
Absolutely.
If all things are equal, I'd probably lean that way. That's just me. But good player, good school, and again, I don't know if Auburn's going to take another linebacker, but this could be a scenario where you're just kind of keeping him warm until you get later down the road, and then you could pop it off. And I think you could probably flip him pretty easy if you wanted to.
I agree.
Earlier in the year, Coach Freeze was talking about that linebacker position, and they were talking about some depth problems, or, you know, just kind of in that area. And like Kyle just said, you know, you've got a lot of young guys back there that, if you're going to be a freshman coming in, are you going to see the field? Are you going to wait your turn the way that everything is now? But, you know, again, an in-state kid committed to Tennessee, Kyle, you said it's an easy flip if you can get him, you know, to see that he's going to have an actual chance at Auburn and make something happen.
I mean, I think the deal is it's Pike Road, and, you know, he's going to get coached up well in high school. Faith, we were over there a few weeks.
Just there, yeah.
And we see what type of they are a powerhouse 6A program. They're very similar in stature to Benjamin Russell and those type of programs. So that's another thing. When you're recruiting kids, and I know coaches look at this, it's not just about the player. It's about what program are they in. You know, when you get kids from Thompson High School, you get a New Boy Fagans, you get a Jared, you know, Smith, you know what you're getting. They're not just some raw kid that's got a lot of intangibles. They've been coached up.
That's a good point.
You're getting a kid that's already been kind of crafted to know what they're doing and kind of understands playing big time football. So that's the same thing with Braylon Outlaw. I mean, he's in a program under Granger Shook that is going to have high expectations, and, you know, they expect to be in the championship game. And so that kind of breeds success. And look, I think that's a big deal for Auburn's roster right now, guys. You look at the kids that Auburn's recruited the last couple of years, most of those kids have either played for a state championship or won a state championship. And we didn't have a lot of that prior to that. You got to change. They come in with a culture mindset of, hey, I know Auburn's been losing the last 3 or 4 years, but we hadn't. And I didn't come here to lose. I didn't come here to start losing. So I think that kind of permeates the culture too, and kind of helps your roster when you get a bunch of kids, not just 4-star and 5-star kids, but 4- and 5-star kids that have won championships and know what it takes, the individual effort on and off the field to get you where you need to go. So that's just kind of my take. Quality players from quality programs.
For sure. And I agree with the guy in the comments, Kyle Sweat. I probably what you're seeing a little bit with Alvin and why, you're getting all these running backs hurt and you're not hearing his name as possibly jumping up and getting the opportunity. It's just tough. It's just tough. And good coaching, good system that kind of gives you a little bit of a step, puts you a step ahead, I guess.
No doubt. I'll mention a couple more, and I'll let you guys give your take on those, and then we'll move out of this and get ready to close it out this morning. Parker Pritchett was there last Saturday. He'll be back again. Again, I think offensive linemen are massive, important every year, the ones that you get. Auburn's done a better job the last couple of years, so he'll be back. But Faith Wilson-Zaire, that was again, Auburn had to go win that battle. It wasn't just because his brother was there and a legacy and all that. It was a battle to get him from Florida State. It had come down, and look at what Florida State's doing right now. Like, that is a totally different football program down there. So, and they're gonna be a team that we'll see at the end of the year. I think they're a playoff team, barring some kind of weird something happening. But Wilson-Zaire, it was key. I remember me and you talking for a week about him, saying this Auburn cannot miss on this guy, and he'll be in on Saturday.
It's still about keeping all these commits that you've
Right.
got each and every week. It's easy to let off the gas a little bit, and they've got plenty of other people that are still pushing just as hard as Auburn is.
Yeah, Auburn's not the only one trying to flip these guys.
Yep.
Auburn's not the only team out there trying to flip commits. So for sure, definitely good to get him here.
Yeah, good to get him here. And then some other guys that already committed, obviously Jalen Scott in the 27 class. And then, of course, Eric Perry from Mississippi, the running back there. So, all right, let's talk about a few more of our partners here, Faith, and then we'll get ready to take this day on headlong. And Old Number One Customs, they are about finished with my master bathroom remodel, and we'll have pictures and videos for everybody to show. If you need a remodel of your bathroom, kitchen, bedroom, outdoor living space, call them 334-752-6162. Go check them out online.
JFA Blue Plumbing, go ahead and get that Home Atlas water filter duo installed for just $15.99. You cannot put a price on health and how important it is to have good filtered water throughout your entire house. Every single faucet is going to have filtered water. So call them at 844-JFA Blue. Oliver Ross, it's an early game, so you want to have those mimosas and all those bartending duties not on you. So call
I can smell them from here.
Yeah, you can call on Oliver Ross. They are going to be the bartending service for you for all your tailgates, fraternities, sorority, any sort of date parties. Also, Oliver Ross is the bartending service for you.
Yep, check them out. They'll come in fully licensed, trained bartenders. Yeah, appreciate all the comments, guys. And again, thank you all for.
Let me announce the winner of last.
Yes,
week. Winner of last week's predictions was Shane Smith. So shoot over one of us a DM on something, and then we'll be able to get your prize over to you. And same with WK Sweat.
Yeah, we've been telling WK to send us his address so we can get this stuff to him. And
yeah,
he comments every day. It's like, WK, do you not want your prizes? So if not, they default to me and Faith after they.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So, but
or
yeah.
Me.
Yeah, it is Kyle Sweat. Look, he just said, yes, that's me.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well,
I wasn't making up Kyle from nowhere.
You did. I mean, you were calling him Kyle for a reason because you had that in your mind. It was Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, send us a DM on your address. We'll get you your prize for the week one. So
do it on Instagram if you can.
Yeah, go to our
Auburn Blitz on Instagram and just shoot a DM.
Right.
And Yeah.
There you go.
And one last happy birthday to Mom today.
Happy birthday to Dawn. What a wonderful person. I told you that. She just very, very nice, very sweet. And yeah, hope she has
the best day ever.
Absolutely, of course. So hey, Kyle, always a pleasure, brother, having you on.
For sure, man.
And looking forward to having you on Fridays with us when you can. And tell everybody before we get off how they can check out all your content and everything that you guys do over at the barn.
Yeah, big thing tomorrow, live stream during the game. It's been a blast. So if you want to jump on, we're going to be streaming the game, having guests on, talking live. Just go to the Barn Auburn YouTube page and you'll see it. We'll be live going at like 11:40, and we'll be there the whole game. So that's a lot of fun. So check that out.
And Faith and I'll be on the sideline burning up. So we'll be giving you some coverage from there. So, but we're looking forward to it for sure.
Good
so
deal.
For us, a little personal deal, go out there and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done it. If you have, we appreciate it. Also hit the like button. It helps us out tremendously. And again, Auburn, South Alabama tomorrow. Make sure you get down to the Plains and take it in. You only get 7 of these opportunities in a year. So take advantage of them. If you're kind of on the fence, go, yeah, I'm going to get in the car and go. So go on down there. Going to be wearing the white uniforms tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. So, all right, Faith, send us out.
All right, we'll be at not Bunkers. We'll be at Lake Martin Pizza at Dadeville today at noon for the noon show. So if you guys want to be one of the first 3 people that come, we'll buy your lunch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then everybody have the best day ever, especially my mom. Happy birthday. And
a big old
birthday, Mom.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.